Good morning, everybody. Glad to have you here today. If you won't, well, not really follow along because I'm not going to read all of this passage, but Genesis chapter 14, verses 1 through 12, if you want to take a look at it. And I'll warn you, it's one of those chapters where you look at some of the names and go, whatever his name is. There's some challenging names here that we see in this chapter, but this is an interesting chapter, and it's far more than I can cover in 4 or 5 minutes each morning. But just let me toss a few things out there, and you can consider them. You can go look at them, study them a little bit on your own, or you can ignore them. It is filled with some interesting things. We have kings, we have nations, we have wars, and eventually we have a king that comes out on top. And so it's kind of a synopsis of it's a portrayal of the ultimate coming of Christ. I mean, there's a lot going on here. This chapter, we see the first battle that is recorded in Scripture, or I guess technically anywhere in history. It is the first battle. It's the first time we have a priest named, a king, war. We're going to see bread, wine, tithes. There's a lot of things that come up in this chapter that begin now to be part of our regular conversation about things of God and Scripture. Again, tithes, the bread and wine, kings, war, those kinds of things, and these are all come up in this particular in this particular chapter. And as we look at these opening verses, and again, I'd encourage you to spend maybe some time on your own digging into each one of those little side roads and look at each one of them. But what I want to point out to you here this morning is the conclusion, actually, of something we talked about last week. Last week we talked about, again, Abram's faith in allowing Lot to make the choice, in allowing Lot to decide which way he would go, and that Abram would take whatever was left, and that Abram said, you trust your eyes, I'll trust God. Well, here we see the somewhat now the chickens coming home to roost, as you might say, of Lot's decision. Lot had looked, as you recall, he had looked and he had made the selfish, again, wise business decision, no doubt, but the selfish, self-preserving choice of going towards the area of the land that looked green, and leaving his uncle to fend for himself. And again, Abram was cool with that. Abram had decided, I'm going to trust God, and I'm going to go with God. And you go with your eyes, I'll go with God. But now we're beginning to see how this is coming back to bite Lot. His decision, and it's really purely based on location. It's the being in the wrong place at the wrong time type situation, that his location has gotten him in trouble. Not of his own doing. He hasn't done anything, but war breaks out between some of these kings. 5 of these kings, to be exact, war breaks out between 5 of these Canaanite kings. And when we say kings, most people agree that we're not talking about kings of the king of England or something. Most of these nations were basically city-state kind of things. They weren't huge, but nonetheless, war breaks out between 5 of them. 4 of the kings from the east, and or 5 of the Canaanite kings from 5. Yeah, let me get it out. 5 Canaanite kings and 4 kings from the east get in a scuffle, and Lot basically ends up in the middle. And when the Canaanite kings are captured by the kings from the east, as was their tradition, they took spoils. When you defeated a nation, you went in and took all their good stuff, and so they go in and they take the spoils from the Canaanite kings. But not only, if you look in verse number 12, let me get down here, they also took Lot, the son of Abram's brother, who was dwelling in Sodom, and his possessions, and went their way. And so they not only took spoils from the Canaanite kings, they took Lot. They took his stuff and carried him off. And so we see this decision that looked really good some time ago when Lot was picking land, turned out to be not such a good decision. May not be the best illustration, but humor me if you will. Some of you may remember Irma Bombeck, passed away now, but she was I don't know what you call it, a writer. Wrote articles and things that were often in the paper, and often then wrote books. And one of her books was entitled "The Grass is Always Greener Over the Septic Tank." Well, Lot certainly learned that lesson the hard way. And we're just reminded, and this just is a cherry on top, I guess you'd say, of what we talked about last week when they made this decision, that Lot chose to trust his eyes and Abram chose to trust God. And here we see the consequences of trusting our eyes. We go back and read back over the story, and we never see where Lot consulted, did any type of prayer, built an altar, asked for any kind of wisdom, direction from God. He simply looked and decided, this looks better, and went that way. This passage just reminds us that our decisions have consequences, that we take care in our decision-making process. The Bible teaches us to lean not unto our own understanding, which is exactly what Lot did in this situation. And this passage now, again, brings the chickens home to roost and reminds us of what leaving God out of our decision-making can cost. Have a good day. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.